Shalom, family. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Man, we gonna dive into this one. Now, before we get started, and before I really get started into what I want to say, there are two videos I want you to watch. All right, there's two videos I want you to see. All right, please give me a one if you can see my screen. After these two videos, then I'm going to get into what I want to say. Thank you.
Somalis are not black. Let me explain why. Looking at me right now, chat, am I black? I'm literally brown. I'm literally brown, bro. Think about it as well. Somalis are Arabs. We're in the Arab leagues. We speak the Arab language. We eat the Arab food. Bro, think about it like this, bro. If a whole community doesn't regard themselves as black, we can't be black, bro. We literally can't be black, bro. Boogie, did you eat your brain cells? Really and truly, Somalis are Arabs, bro. Think about it, bro. We're in the Arab leagues. We speak the Arab language. Bro, tell me I'm not lying, bro.
We are Somalis, not black. There, I said it. All right? Everyone is keep asking, why don't Somalis want to identify as black? It's simple. The term black was never a word to begin with. Ah! Yeah. The term black, it didn't come from Africa. It came from America. Hello. Right? It was designed to separate slaves from Europeans. It was not designed to celebrate identity. It was to control it. Yeah. So when Somalis came to the West, we didn't suddenly become black. We were labeled. All right? Imposed. And we embrace it. Chill like that. Chill like that. Sheesh. Somalis had identity before race. All right? Our identity comes from our ancestors, not appearance. Yeah. All right? Blackness is a Western category. Somalia is a civilization. Big difference. We're Somalis. Chill like that. Chill like that.
Now, you can say all of those things. Your ass lives in the West. When you ever heard that saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans? When you get over here, see ICE getting ready to come in and raid you Somalians. And I want y'all to know a few things. Donald Trump can't stand Ilhan Omar. He can't stand that woman. Even in his first term, he was dragging her. He even threatened to deport her. This year, he said he wants to deport her. When ICE come in there, y'all can say, I'm not black, I'm Somali. I promise you, when ICE get up in there, you gonna get the black treatment up in Minnesota, where your largest population of Somalians are. You getting that black treatment, whether you like it or not. That's what your ass is gonna get. Look at how they're treating the Latinos. They were the first to be raided. They body slam the women on the ground. They do the same thing. They pile on. They'll have one Latino man and about 5, 6 ICE agents piled on top of them. You ain't seen nothing yet. Y'all can get on all these videos. Number one, you and the first person are darker than me. And in this country, these folks don't like melanin. So you can call yourself Arab. I don't care. Those big light bulb heads are going to be running everywhere when they get up there. And I promise you, you ain't getting no better treatment because you call yourself Arab. You are in the land of milk and honey, and that's how they see things around here. If you think some ICE agent is going to slack up off of you because you ain't black, you Somali, you got another thought coming. Y'all ain't even prepared for what's about to happen to you. Being black is going to be the least of your worries when they come down on you. Now, Donald Trump is chattering about it. That means you are days away from being heavily rated by ICE, and they going to show you who and what they think you are here in the Western world. So y'all ain't seen nothing yet. You can get on these videos and say all this shit. I promise you, it ain't gonna make a difference to not one of those neo-Nazi ICE agents when they get a hold of your dark-skinned asses. So you can go ahead and do that. And really, it's a slight towards us. We're not this, we're that. Well, you live in the Western world, dummy. And in the Western world, with that melanin, you about to FAFO real soon. And you can best believe I'm going to show that shit right here on my lives. I'm going to show it. Let's see if you get some better treatment because you're not black. You're Arab. Let's see if you get better treatment because of it. I promise you, you won't. I promise you, you won't. So let's get into it, y'all. Because they're not saying nothing. They're not saying nothing at all. They just think they're saying something. All right, y'all. Let's get to it.
Temporary protection status for Somalians in Minnesota and all over the country. And I have one thing to say. What took so long? He noted how the gangs in Minnesota are taking over, the amount of money that we're spending. And I believe it's 54% of Somalians in this country are using EBT benefits. Why is this a thing? And why aren't they going back? Umar and the other ones, just like Umar, should have been sent back years ago. Why do we have to take care of everyone's problem? And they are Africa's problem. So this is a good thing, right? But I ask one question though. There's gangs, there's all these people. Why are we allowing people to come into this country and then we protect them with our laws and our way of life, and they don't even respect our laws and our way of life? Why?
Trump is about to deport hundreds of Somali Americans right now. I'm gonna break it down for you. So on November 21st, Trump announced via Truth Social that he's terminating TPS for Somalis in Minnesota. And the reason he's doing this is because he has accused the Minnesota Somali community of fraud and money laundering. But as of now, he has offered no public verified proof of that. According to the congressional data, around 705 of them being Somali-born people in the US currently benefit from TPS. And the DHS actually extended and redesignated Somalis TPS status on July 22nd, 2024 into March 2026. Legal experts argue that Trump does not have legal authority to unilaterally revoke TPS designated by law, especially for a particular group in one state. Civil rights groups are calling that this is politically motivated and discriminatory, and courts are likely to step in. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down.
See, this young man is very naive. They have already done this to the Haitians, Jamaicans, Latinos. Donald Trump don't follow rules. So if you think, oh, well, he can't do this to us, he's already done it to other groups. Dude must be very naive. And remember, they told the Latinos, oh, we're only going after the criminals. They're going after the ones that have been in this country for 30 and 40 years and still deporting them. Everybody's not a criminal, but they are going after them and deporting them anyway. All right. So if you think he can't do something, you better think again. He's already done it. That right there just proves the fact that he's sitting on a video saying this proves he has not been paying attention to the people that have been deported already, that have been raided already. He's not even paying attention. Okay. Donald Trump Donald Trump don't believe in no rules. There's no rule that this man won't break. Seriously. But you can go ahead and believe that if you want. Let's
Down below, do you agree with Trump or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below.
Trump just ended the protection for Somalis, the ones in Minnesota. He said it's over for them, to send them back to where they came from on his true social media. He's tired of them scamming Minnesota out of hundreds of millions of dollars. He must have heard about that Feed the Kids scam, where they said that they was feeding hundreds of thousands of kids, but they weren't. And he's tired of them terrorizing the people of Minnesota. This is Trump on his true social media. We all know that Minnesota is the home of the largest Somali community in the country. Now, we don't know how this is going to play out. We don't know if they're going to go in stealth mode and send the National Guard into Minnesota. We just don't know how he's going to implement it, or if it's even legal to do. But, you know, we're talking about Trump. Trump, he don't care. He don't listen to the judges. When he said it's over so far, you know. But, yeah, let me know what y'all think about it, especially the people in Minnesota.
The president just said he's ending TPS status for Somalis in Minnesota. If you don't know what TPS is, it's all right. It stands for Temporary Protected Status. This is basically when the U.S. Department of Homeland Security designates nationals of certain countries across the world to remain in the United States due to those countries having things like natural disaster, civil war, and just other horrific events. Those are just two examples right there. Countries that are currently on the list, obviously Somalia, Ukraine has TPS, Venezuela, El Salvador, Myanmar, and more. He made the announcement on Friday evening on Truth Social, calling out Minnesota Governor Walz and saying that Minnesota is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. He said, I, as the president of the U.S., is terminating the TPS program for Somalis in Minnesota effective immediately. He adds that Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. To end his post, he said that send them back to where they came from. It's over. And signed President DJT. And Governor Walz has since reacted on social media as well, saying that it's not surprising to him that the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community, and says that this is what he does to change the subject. And according to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Somalia's current designation for TPS ends in March of 2026. We found a report on congress.gov that said as of March 31st of just this past year, 2025, 705 nationals of Somalia were covered by TPS in the United States.
Thank you. Breaking news out of Washington and a big announcement from President Trump about
the president posted on Truth Social, I am, as president of the United States, by terminating effective immediately the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from, end quote. Now, we're working to learn the legality of the president's plan and the potential impact.
We know Minnesota has the largest Somali population in the United States, with the last estimate by Minnesota Compass at more than 79,000 people. Callum Gray is working on this in the newsroom, and Callum, reaction is coming in fast tonight.
That's right. Just in the last hour, Governor Walz responding, saying, quote, it is not surprising the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community. This is what he does to change the subject, end quote. Congressmember Ilhan Omar also pushing back, posted on X, quote, I am a citizen and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay. According to National Immigration Forum, as of October, there were 705 people from Somalia in the U.S. with TPS, and we're working to get the total count here in Minnesota. Temporary protected status is meant for those whose home countries are experiencing civil unrest, violence, or natural disasters. Somali immigrants have been eligible since 1991. The Department of Homeland Security says this was most recently extended through March of next year. Homeland Security has the discretion to designate a country for TPS for periods of 6 to 18 months and can extend it if the country continues to meet the conditions for designation. I just spoke with Julia Decker with the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota. She explained typically TPS terminations have to be posted on the Federal Register before the date the country's designation is set to expire. I just checked Homeland Security's website in the last few minutes, and Somalia is still listed. Decker also explained this is not done state by state, so the federal government will have to end TPS for all Somali immigrants, not just those here in Minnesota. The Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations tonight says this will tear families apart, calling it a political attack based on hateful rhetoric and urging the president to reverse the decision. But Republicans are praising the announcement. Republican State House Speaker Lisa Damuth, who is running for governor, shared the president's post saying, quote, President Trump is right. Fraud is out of control and unacceptable. Going on to say anyone involved in these criminal activities should be swiftly deported if they are not lawfully present in the U.S. Republican House Majority Whip Tom Emmer tonight thanked the president. Kevin.
Today, we're tracking a new target in the Trump immigration crackdown, the Somali community in Minnesota. This started after Trump posted this, that the state is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity, blaming Somali migrants and claiming that billions of dollars are missing. Trump says that he is terminating temporary protective status for Somali nationals effective immediately, a move legal scholars say could violate federal procedures. TPS is a humanitarian program designed to protect people from, war and disasters. And as of now, only a few hundred Somalis in the U.S. are covered by it. So meanwhile, the White House has not released any evidence supporting the claim of billions of lost or statewide money laundering by Somalis, or anybody for that matter. Minnesota's officials have called the statement false and dangerous. This is a major policy shift, guys. I mean, a major escalation in Trump's immigration agenda and a move certain to set off a court fight. My name is Jared Zisser. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, YouTube for breaking news, updates, and the full story.
President Trump about Somalis living in Minnesota.
Tonight, the president posted on Truth Social, quote, I am, as president of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from, end quote. Now, we're working to learn the legality of the president's plan and the potential impact.
We know Minnesota has the largest Somali population in the United States, with the last estimate by Minnesota Compass at more than 79,000 people. Callan Gray is working on this in the newsroom, and Callan, reaction is coming in fast tonight.
That's right. Just in the last hour, Governor Walz responding, saying, quote, it is not surprising the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community. This is what he does to change the subject, end quote. Congressmember Ilhan Omar also pushing back, posted on X, quote, I am a citizen and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay. According to National Immigration Forum, as of October, there were 705 people from Somalia in the U.S. with TPS, and we're working to get the total count here in Minnesota. Temporary protected status is meant for those whose home countries are experiencing civil unrest, violence, or natural disasters. Somali immigrants have been eligible since 1991. The Department of Homeland Security says this was most recently extended through March of next year. Homeland Security has the discretion to designate a country for TPS for periods of 6 to 18 months and can extend it if the country continues to meet the conditions for designation. I just spoke with Julia Decker with the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota. She explained typically TPS terminations have to be posted on the Federal Register before the date the country's designation is set to expire. I just checked Homeland Security's website in the last few minutes, and Somalia is still listed. Decker also explained this is not done state by state, so the federal government will have to end TPS for all Somali immigrants, not just those here in Minnesota. The Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations tonight says this will tear families apart, calling it a political attack based on hateful rhetoric and urging the president to reverse the decision. But Republicans are praising the announcement. Republican State House Speaker Lisa Damuth, who is running for governor, shared the president's post saying, quote, President Trump is right. Fraud is out of control and unacceptable. Going on to say anyone involved in these criminal activities should be swiftly deported if they are not lawfully present in the U.S. Republican House Majority Whip Tom Emmer tonight thanked the president. Kevin.
Okay, that's Kellen Great. Now, Minnesota's Republican delegation in Congress, including Tom Emmer, shared a letter with us that they just sent to U.S. Attorney for Minnesota Daniel Rosen. And in this letter, they're asking for an investigation into Governor Walz's, quote, inaction and improper handling of fraud.
They're also asking for Rosen to look into reports Minnesota taxpayer dollars are ending up in the hands of the al-Shabaab terrorist network in Somalia. A source in the U.S. Attorney's Office tells us they don't have an exact dollar amount, however, says, quote, al-Shabaab controls much of Somalia and imposes a tax on all financial activity in the areas it controls. So a decent amount of feeding our future and other fraud money almost certainly ended up in the hands of al-Shabaab.
So it looks like President Trump is going to be deporting the Somali gangs out of Minnesota. He just tweeted, Minnesota under Governor Walz is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as President of the United States, hereby terminating effective immediately the TPS programs for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, President Donald J. Trump. And I think it's about time, and I'll explain why. My entire family on my father's side are immigrants. On the father that raised me side, also immigrants. And they all got their citizenship here legally, and they assimilated and love this country. Very big patriots. Beyond illegal immigration, you also have people who come here under a protected status, if you will, or some people who come here on visas. They not only just not assimilate, they actively work to diminish the country from within. In fact, they will openly say that they hate this country. Many of them will openly admit to taking advantage of this country with no intention of abiding by our culture or even love. A lot of people will leave countries that they are escaping from just to then bring those same standards of living here. We grew up learning that we are a country of immigrants, and that is true. And the diversity of America is absolutely a beautiful and wonderful thing if we're all aiming towards the same goal. In fact, that diversity makes us better when we're all aiming towards that same goal. But we also have to call out bad faith actors and multiculturalism, and when it is doing nothing more than just diminishing us from the inside. The United States of America, if it ever falls, will be from the inside.
Somalia's economy relies heavily on remittances, much of it coming from the United States. Federal investigators and counterterrorist experts confirm Minnesota taxpayer dollars funneled through community remittance networks eventually enriched al-Shabaab, this al-Qaeda spinoff, via the money they forcibly take from all financial activity in their territory. The single largest funder of al-Shabaab in the world is the Minnesota taxpayer, or on two politicians in particular. The feckless Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and the utterly repulsive Somali-born Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. So Happy Hands Walz is being faulted for failing to confront or prevent this fraud, even though he knew about it. He ignored repeated warnings since 2020 about scams in childcare, housing, disability programs in the state. Republican Representative Tom Emmer, he's from Minnesota as well, and the entire GOP House delegation are calling for a federal investigation on the inaction and proper handling of fraud by Walz and his entire administration. And then back in 2021, Ilhan Omar actually recorded a publicity video for a restaurant that was at the center of this fraud, Safari Restaurant. This Minneapolis restaurant basically became a front for this money laundering operation. And Ilhan Omar is featured in a video at the restaurant, like, distributing meals to children alike, which is exactly what was behind this entire fraud. Now, she's claimed no involvement in the scandal whatsoever, but we now know that her campaign received $5,400 from two individuals who were later implicated in fraud investigation. And it gets worse, because Omar was actually the sponsor of the Meals Act in 2020, which expanded federal food aid during the pandemic. And this is precisely the very legislation that created the opportunities that fraudsters exploited to steal hundreds of millions of dollars from taxpayers, much of which got sent back to Somalia and ended up in the coffers of the spinoff of freaking Al-Qaeda.
Donald Trump posting on Truth Social that he will terminate the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. In his post, he says the reason is, quote, Minnesota, under Governor Walz, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as the President of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status, TPS program, for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, President DJT, end quote. Now, we have reached out to Governor Tim Walz for a comment, but have not heard back tonight. Somalia's protective status currently runs through March 2026. Now, tonight, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar responding to Trump's post on Twitter, saying, I am a citizen and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay.
Trump administration is trying to end a temporary protected status for Somalis living in Minnesota. This is what happened last night. This is what was posted on True Social. Minnesota, under Governor Walz, did not spell his name right, by the way, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as President of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of the great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over. President DJT. Now, it's unclear if he can even do this, if he can take away TPS from one group of people in one state. Usually the Secretary of Homeland Security is the one that designates countries for TPS status. Somali has been in this status since the 90s because of the civil war that is still ongoing there. If this does go through, it will impact about 700 Somalis that live in Minnesota. If you are unaware, Minnesota has the largest Somali community in the United States at about 80,000. So it's a very small number of individuals that will be impacted. This is more about Islamophobia. It's about racism. That's what this is about. It's about a scare tactic and to rally a base. Like Emmer came on and was like, good for you, Donald. And it's just like, y'all just racist.
Every one of you doubted this president, even to go as far as saying that is it possible that he is selling out the country, that the Prince of Saudi Arabia was just here, and now he's palling up with Zohran Mamdani. And I got to be quite honest with you, I had to dig deep into my faith, saying that I know that God has his president's back, and that there's no way in hell that this president is going to turn his back on the citizens of the United States of America. Breaking news just coming in that Donald Trump has just revoked the security and the protection of over 46,000 Muslims out of Somalia that are currently living in Minnesota, and he wants them deported immediately. That a scathing report has come out from the Somalian community that they have laundered hundreds of millions of dollars from the taxpayers of Minnesota and funneled it over there to Somalia. I told you that this was coming to a head. I told you that you guys are going to fuck around, and I promise you that you're going to find out. This is just the beginning, and every single one of you has brought it upon yourself. You came here from Somalia. You came here to have a better life, and now you're going to go back and be deported from the very same place that you ran from, because the citizens over there are getting decimated, losing their lives by the thousands every day. We welcomed every single one of you as a guest to our country.
Listen, y'all. All I got to say is to you Somalians, you need to get ready for anything, because if you study the Latinos, they get raided around the clock, and they're going to raid your children's schools. Whatever schools your kids go to, that's going to get raided. If some of y'all are hospitalized, they going to raid them hospitals and get you out. They don't care if you just came out of the OR. They going to pack you up and get you the hell up on out of that hospital. They're not playing. They're not playing. They're going to get you all out, legal and not legal. They're going to get you all out. They don't care. Look at how many of these Latinos are crying all over camera. My dad's been here for 30 years and he got deported. That's right. And that's exactly what's going to happen to you Somalians. All right. And why are so many of you on EBT? What the hell is up with that? You know, so you came to America just to be a drag on society? Why are so many of you on EBT? You could have kept your ass home if that's what you were going to do. So, no, I mean, Donald Trump means what he says. Just like when you heard him raiding the cities with the National Guard, he kept his word on that, didn't he? And he's going to keep his word on raiding the largest Somalian community in the country in Minnesota. Trust me, he's keeping his word on that. He's keeping his word. It makes me laugh how many of you Africans come over here claiming to be such hard workers, and then we're finding out, and it's not just the Somalians, we're finding out y'all on EBT and getting all kinds of government benefits. Then how is that working hard? Seriously. So they better get ready, because Donald Trump is dead serious. If he did it to the others, he's going to do it to you. Plain and simple. He is not going to back down. And if he's talking about it, don't even be surprised if Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of this week, ICE is there at your door at 3 a.m. Because that's how they do their raids. They'll show up on your butt in the middle of the night. And y'all got gangs. You came all the way here just to have gangs? Man, he definitely going to get y'all the hell up on out of here. He going to get y'all out of here. All right. Boaz, yes. Sharala, 9626. Thank you for thank you for the super chat. Light bulb heads. Yeah, their heads are shaped like light bulbs. They are. They gonna get them out of here. And like I said, these two in the beginning talking about saying we're not black. Yeah, well, you wait. I'm gonna be right there to show you getting that black treatment. You watch. You're going to get that black treatment, whether you like it or not. Your ass going to get it. Uh-huh. And just my observation, y'all, a lot of people don't care for these Somalians. And it's not just us. When I'm online, I see a lot of white people. They don't care for them either. So no, they can't even say it's just us that don't like. It's a lot of people that don't care for these folks. And it's the same way with these Nigerians and Ghanaians. I mean, they don't like these folks. I know they think, all the talk of delineating, it's just us. It is far from just us. It's far from just us. Many of these white people are cheering what Donald Trump is about to do in Minnesota. They are cheering it. So, but it makes me laugh. Don't these dudes be trying to say they like us better than they like you. Honey, we have lived around these folks for centuries. They don't like nothing with no damn melanin. Okay, so there's no damn way they like you better than us. They don't like you all together if you got all that melanin. I can tell you that right now. You a fool for believing it. I hope they do this in the UK. Okay, Jocelyn. I'm sure they will get around to it. They already got around to them old fraudulent Nigerian nurses with all their fake degrees. And like I said, it's not just the nurses. If you go online and look, a lot of these Nigerians that come over here as doctors, many of them are frauds. They're not real doctors. So I guess you can What is that saying? You can take the Somalian out of Somalia, but you can't take that Somalian out of them when they're in America. They still act like they're over in Somalia. Well, that's about to come to an end. For real. Oh no, I saw that. Leonard, I saw that. No, it is a trip. And Donald Trump is right on this one. He's definitely right. Mhm. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I deeply appreciate it. Actually, I got two more things coming up. The next one is going to just be the floods that hit Texas. We'll be looking at that. And I got one that I'm still putting together now that'll probably be a premiere. And it's how all these white folks that are farmers obtained their land by stealing millions of acres from black farmers, and how this government helped them do it. So that's why you're hearing about them saying, "Oh, I got 2,000 acres of land." Go back in the 1800s and look at the demographics of those same towns. They had a black population there during Reconstruction, and they stole all their farmland. That's why they got so much land today. It's all stolen. All stolen. So, y'all, I will see you later. Have a wonderful day. And be on the lookout for my next live stream, which should be at 3:45. And my last one will probably be like around 7, the premiere. So I will see you then. Shalom, family.